Eminem, the man, the myth, the rap god, the legend who helped transform rap into a much more mainstream entity, and a guy who has had a lot of feuds over the years. Which, yes, is something you expect from rappers in general, but when it comes to Eminem, he was never afraid to go to war with people and bury them with diss tracks and other insults in his songs to ensure that they knew their place. And some of them, you could argue, went a little beyond the scope. So join us as we show you 5 times Eminem disses went too far. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 5. Kill Shot. Let's start this off with one of his more recent feuds. This one came in 2018, which was a big and important year for him because he released Kamikaze, which we'll be breaking down more later. And in it, he dissed a lot of people, one of whom was MGK, aka Machine Gun Kelly. MGK is a famous rapper himself, and for a long time he idolized Eminem and even called him his inspiration. But then he made a mistake by making a not-so-smart tweet about Eminem's daughter Haley. And if you know Eminem, you don't mention his daughter in any negative way unless you want to pay the price. Though ironically, Eminem waited 6 years before firing back. But he did, and MGK heard it. To his credit, MGK didn't take this lying down and created what many feel was his best rap song ever in the diss track Rap Devil, which was a pun on Rap God by Eminem. Many were impressed that MGK stepped up to the plate in this feud. Others weren't as impressed, but all music is subjective in terms of quality. After Rap Devil came out, Eminem wasted no time coming back and creating his own diss track called Kill Shot. It was perfectly constructed to break down Rap Devil into all of its parts and insult MGK in every single way that mattered. So much so that even though he didn't do a music video, he put the track on YouTube and it crushed Rap God's view count. Machine Gun Kelly bowed out of the feud after that, although he claims he had a retort in hand but didn't want to use it. Yeah, right. And Eminem was the winner. Did Eminem go too far here? Well, he did put MGK out to pasture, and you could argue that Kelly never recovered from that feud, so you decide. Number 4. The Warning. We're going off the rapper reservation for this one, because this too far diss was aimed at the one and only Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey is very much a diva, and she sometimes doesn't know when to stop, which she's been proving in recent times as well as throughout her own career. We'd happily tell you all her diva-ish things, but that's for another list. But one time, she decided to diss Eminem after they had a relationship together. No, really, this happened. They dated and then some, and then when her relationship with him fell apart, she decided to make the song Obsessed, which insulted Eminem in numerous ways. It's a good thing her ex wasn't a hit rapper who knew how to put people in their place, or else this could have gotten ugly for her. Oh wait, that's exactly what Eminem is. So to answer her call-out, he went and did The Warning, where he not only laid down the hurt on Mariah, he decided to get explicit in regards to their encounters in the bedroom, if you get my drift. But he wasn't done. He titled the song that way because it was a warning for Mariah to back off, else other dirty little secrets would come out. Now, was this going too far? A little bit. Sure, she fired the first shot, but no one wants personal details leaked out. Even Mariah does deserve some grace. Anyway, she backed off and Eminem again won. The funny thing though is that she could have avoided this whole thing if she had just kept her mouth shut. But she's always had a hard time doing that.
Yo, I'm so excited, man. If I start getting weird, just stop me.
It's all good, man.
Weird is good in this show.
Okay.
Number 3. Hail Mary. While Eminem is a guy who's more than happy to go to war with others because of insults against his person or his family, he'll also go to bat with tried and true friends, such as with his fellow record label rapper 50 Cent. Eminem actually helped recruit 50 Cent into the rap game, so when 50 Cent was in a feud with Ja Rule and he needed backup, Eminem was there. And not only was this a diss, it was a beatdown. Busta Rhymes, 50 Cent, and Eminem all went at Ja Rule with everything that they had. They did tracks taking apart everything Ja Rule has done or ever claimed to have done. For Eminem specifically, he did a song called Hail Mary, where he portrayed Ja Rule as an imitator and a rapper whose brain had melted because of substance abuse. XXL Magazine describes it as one of the hardest-hitting diss tracks of all time. which shows how deep Eminem went. And remember, he was doing this for 50 Cent. So if you mess with someone Eminem is loyal to, you are going to regret it. Number 2. Cleaning Out My Closet and Kim. If you know the life story of Eminem, you'll know that his upbringing was anything but picture perfect. He's had a life that was very wrong from a very young age. And part of the reason for this was his mother. Early in his life, Eminem's father left the family, and this left Eminem alone with his mother. She struggled to hold down a job, and because of this, Eminem has moved around from city to city, and thus he was basically an outcast wherever he went. But Eminem never let loose on her until he did the track Cleaning Out My Closet, where despite labeling it as not a diss track, he went full tilt and spelled out exactly who he felt his mother was. Saying that she was an abuser, took many substances, and was neglectful and hateful to him. That's a lot to put into one track, yet he did it, and he did it happily. His mother, though, not so happy. She was so mad about it that she took him to court over it. But she didn't get anything from the endeavor. They claim to have reconciled, but you have to wonder if this song was the best way to voice his problems with her. Which also brings us to his other major relationship, his ex-wife, Twice, in Kim. She was his rock for many years and the mother of their child Haley. But at one point she was divorcing him, and he was so angry he made the diss track Kim, which he not only sang at a concert, but brought out a doll with a shirt labeled Kim so he could vent at her. It was a bit tacky, but Eminem felt he needed to do it, so he did.
Thanks for meeting with me. I appreciate it. I know you know my goal is to become a rapper, and I don't know.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am serious. I'm sick of doing the show, to be honest with you.
Number 1. Kamikaze. Eminem has had a prolific career full of many highs, but also a near fatal low. You see, the pressures of his life grew to such a degree that he almost overdosed. He lived, but it changed him for the better. Eminem understood now that his words really had power and that they could seriously influence lives. So thus, after his recovery, he aimed to try and be a more inspirational rapper. Relapse, recovery, and more paved the way for that. And fans liked it, for a time. And when they didn't like it anymore, they spoke out, loudly. They wanted Slim Shady back. And when Revival in 2017 became his first panned album, and the voices of the crowds got even louder, he knew enough was enough. So he went and made Kamikaze. In this one album, he basically insulted everyone that ever decided to diss him out loud or in private. Didn't matter if this was a recent thing, a long-term feud, or just someone he didn't agree with. He went all out on them. So essentially, Kamikaze was a diss album from start to finish. One of the big diss tracks on the album was Fall, where he went off on those judging him for the style that he did after his near-death experience. But he also admitted that he didn't have much time left on Earth, or at the very least in his rap career. And thus he knew he had to become what people wanted, at least for a time so they could get off his back. Then in songs like The Ringer and more, he went off on the entire class of mumble rappers out in the world today. In Eminem's mind, mumble rappers are a disgrace to the genre. They don't have the same flow or feeling that rappers like him, Drake, the late Tupac, or Biggie Smalls and others have. Yet they're parading around the place thinking that they own the joint, when they clearly don't. And on it went until finally he was done. The album was a big hit, but it also started up some things like the MGK feud we talked about earlier. So did this go too far? In a way, because Eminem regressed a bit back into his more non-nice tendencies, and calling out everyone didn't paint him in the best light. But then again, can you blame him for venting after years of hearing that he didn't have it anymore? We don't blame him. So what do you think? What did you think of this look at Eminem and the disses that he unleashed on the world, and more specifically, onto certain people that might honestly be construed as going too far? Do you think that some of them honestly went too far? Or do you think that for a guy like Eminem, this was almost tame by comparison? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.